welcome to our round table today with LM Pay, which is represented by CEO Jakob and Gregor. Nice to have you here today. LM Pay is quite new to the capital market, but with a really interesting story, and we definitely like to hear more about it. So LM Pay is specialized in providing of consumer lending designed for pre-financing of a wide range of medical and dental treatments. And Jakob, you also created the slogan "Care Now and Pay Later." So we are really happy to have you here today, and I would like to hand over to you and wish us all a deep insight in your equity story.
Thank you very much, Harold. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the chance to introduce the LM Pay today. As Harold said, we offer consumer loans for medical treatments across in Poland today, but very, very soon in Romania too. My name is Jakub Czarzasty, and I'm a founder and CEO since 2010, so it's a 15 years story. Slide number 2 shows our equity story. In a couple of minutes, I show you that we are existing in quite attractive and niche market. Today, we've got a huge numbers of clinics and hospitals, because today it's almost 13,000 in Poland. And as I said, we started 15 years ago, and we were first. That's why our very strong point is that we built big barrier to entry, new players, new competitors. We've got another strong points what I would tell you today, because first of all, it's a automatic process. We've got absolutely great technology department, and of course the rest of a great team of LM Pay, and all these points guarantee today scalability, business with strong growth and international expansions. We've got 30% returning customers. It's very nice figures, because it shows that our product is very friendly and transparent. I'm not going to bore you about my CV, but only very short. I'm a lawyer, and my right hand, Sławomir Bielec, is a mathematic guy who is responsible for financials. LM Pay offers some kind of bridge between clinics and patients and clinics. You know, it's a quite simple business, because a clinic would have more business and bigger margin on medical services, but clients has got easy and quick financial solutions. So as I said, that it's quite simple. Very short about our products. We've got 2 main products, MediPay and Medirate. Medirate, it's an old one. We start our business from this product. Medirate is a higher ticket, it's a longer process, and absolutely less automatizations, because we do this business, this Medirate, with the clinics by our private call center. So it takes some time. And our absolutely star of our business, ultra modern, is MediPay. It's a lower ticket, quick decisions, very, very low risks. And that's a characteristic of MediPay and our business today. I would say something about our competitors, because I touched this issue a little bit earlier. Opposite to another lending company, we are working in niche, and in Poland today we don't have really a lot of competitors. Of course, our natural competitors are credit cards and bank loans, but these institutions don't have direct integrations between clinics and products. But we do. Our partner is connected with LM Pay clinic panel, and this is our real power. I love this trend line on the right side. I love it. We can call it how we want: drive up, growing, rising. And of course, all this true. But when we started the business 15 years ago, we focused mostly on dentistry, ophthalmology, orthopedics, gynecology, and today this part of treatments still existing and growing very fast every year. But well-being, cult of beauty, depilations, pet boom, I mean about veterinary, this is the future of our business. And today, patient needs are more complicated, or maybe I should have said more complex today. Recurring character, especially in beauty. That's why we started this business 4 years ago. We opened for another medical treatments in Poland because we should have done it. Yes. Here is only one thing of what I want when I can see the trend line. I just want to grow much faster than this trend. Yeah. Quite short about our waterfall and source of our debts. But first of all, I need to tell you something about the frauds, because frauds are absolutely nightmares of lending company in every country in Europe. LM Pay, we don't know what is this frauds, because we send the money directly to clinics and hospitals, and the staffs of the clinics are responsible for confirming IDs. They must do KYC. So this is our nice power. About the debt, we've got three main sources of financing our business. First is, of course, our equity. Today, our equity is more or less 10 million euro. Another source is a private debt from shareholders. And the biggest one is from international financing partner who give LM Pay a big chance to grow faster and more profitable. And this is very important. It's very expensive, but it's very important that we've got a source of debt which is theoretically unlimited. Our average cost of debt today is about 14% per annum, but we lend the money average for 26%. So we have got 12 upside and still a huge potential for reducing financing costs. And I can tell you that in this year, in 2025, we are going to cut the financing costs about minimum 3 to 4, maybe 5%. That's the real plan, because we talked with financial partners already, and this is and we will see a big light in a tunnel, in a tube. Quite short about our risk. We've got internal and external information about the client, and what's the most important is the scoring system is upgraded every week. Today, our risk level is about 3%. In March 2023, we employ a very clever risk manager, Marcin Tokarek, who focusing for reputable clinics, but every bad clinics were terminated. So our level of risk just down for a 5%. We've got a 8% today. We've got about 3. Here is another trend lines about our business. But I want to tell you that it was difficult, even I should say very difficult to get meeting with the owner of the clinics, usually doctors, then presenting him or her our solutions in the clinics, and then implementing MediPay or MediRat products. But today I can say that it was worth doing. Clinics are absolutely the best distributor our products. That's why we've got a very big barrier with our competitors. And maybe just look how it's the difference between LM Pay and another loan companies where are not focused on a healthcare credit loan. It's a big difference, 3 and 20%. Something about our drive up, our trigger to drive up revenue and net income. Of course, theoretically, the simplest way to drive up revenue is to have more partners and category on financing. Today, I can tell you a lot about our plan of a category of new financing, but we are going to launch new products which we'll call secure pay, because we'd like to lend the money for vehicles insurances. But in the next 2-3 months, we can clarify these products a little bit more. Another trigger to rise our revenue and net income, it's new payments methods, because for the last 2.5 years, we built together with Visa MediPay cards. And this solution will help us reach to more than 90,000 new medical and beauty clinics who are not directly connected with our system, but they have a terminal for card payments. So that's why we made these solutions. And of course, international expansions. First is Romania as a very similar to Poland market. And then we will see, we told about Bulgaria, but we are a little bit afraid about corruption in this country. But we will see, we are just looking for in Portugal, Spain. We will see, we've got a lot of work in Poland in the next 3-4 years. And we will see how it's going on in Romania in this year. Here you can see a little bit of figures connected with presented facts before. Our revenue rise about 39% in the first quarter on 2024. And I think and I hope that we will show a similar, or I hope, grower indicator in 2025. EBIT has been multiplied, but the base was low. today we are in a right way to make it much bigger. 30% of recurring customers is very positive and I think that's quite stable indicator. And we've got for the first 3 quarters we squeezed 30,000 new customers, and we are expectation for our 4 quarters for the next 12, 14 customers. On the next slides, I would call your attention here for the EBIT and the net profit in 2023, because in 2022 and 23 we decided to spend a lot of money for 3 one-offs. And first was a fee for international financing partner, and it was happened in 22 and 23. The second one-offs quite big. It was a stock exchange listing, and it was in 2023 November. And for the last 2 years we spent a lot of money for a very complex and sophisticated financial app for Visa card. If you like to know any details about it, of course I can answer after this presentations. Here is our solid balance sheet. What I tell you about our equity, it's more than 10 million euros, so I don't want to bore you about it. You will have a connection with this presentation, so if you've got any question, just ask me anytime. And something about our guidance. So today I can tell that we are in a point, we are in a right way to make it. And as I said before, in 2025 we've got some expectations, and we can imagine that rising of our revenue and net income will be between 30 to, I hope, 100 or maybe more percent drive up. So that's all. As I promised, it will take maximum 15-17 minutes. So with pleasure, I am at your disposal to answer the questions.
Yeah, so let me get through the question, and we received already a couple of questions already. But before I would start with some housekeeping, somebody noticed that this meeting is recorded, and yes, it will be shared later on. You can find a recording on research-hub.de. So it's our web page where you can find all our research regarding LM Pay and other interesting German and also European countries, and you will also find the recording there. But Jakob, thanks for the insights. Let's start with some, let's say, basic topic. And there was a question regarding which kind of treatment and operation is like in the sense of number, which is the most one you finance?
Today it's a beauty. It's a change for the last 4 years, because 4 years ago it was, of course, dentistry and ophthalmology. But it changed because in 2019, I decided to go in a lower ticket. We wanted to have 10,000 new customers, not 500 in a big tickets. That's why we decided to go this partner where the average ticket is 2,000 zlotys. So it's a little bit less than 500 euro. The risk is much lower, and we feel in this field much better than in a big ticket. But I didn't tell you, and thank you very much for these questions, because we started some cooperation with the biggest consumer bank in Poland. I mean about Santander Consumer Bank, and every big ticket, more than 30,000 zlotys, we sent to the Santander, but we don't have a risk. We're making the process, and the client think that it's still LM Pay, not Santander Bank. So we need to do it because our debt is quite expensive, and we can competitive with banks. So we decided to do big tickets for thanks to the bank.
So actually, it's dental and beauty treatments, because there's also the question if you hand out a credit, so it's not paid by a Polish Medicare, like a medical system or
No,
insurance.
we can talk only about the private healthcare, of course.
Okay, so then also like to get a deeper understanding about the business is like in Germany, for instance, there's a company which is called Deutsche Familienversicherung, and they have like a comparable product, but they work mostly with insurance. So what is making it easier? Is it easier with a credit, or is it an insurance model the easier way to finance this kind of treatment?
In Poland, we've got a quite different medical system than in Germany, because we don't have medical insurances here. Only a public.
Mhm.
But we've got quite big lines to the doctors, to the specialists, especially if we are talking about ophthalmology. So absolutely every Polish guy today doesn't have time to wait. That's why he decided to go the private healthcare. That's why our private healthcare is rising every year for a few percentage. So it's a quite different system. That's why our system is suitable to Polish public system of medical system. Yeah.
So actually, there's no insurance business. Like for instance, I've got a normal like a dental insurance. I have to pay a monthly or an annual fee. As soon as I've got trouble, I go to the dentist and I get a repayment by my insurance. So does not exist in the Polish market.
In Poland, everyone is insured in the public healthcare, but this is uh, mm, quite tight medical treatments. And if you'd like to make something more complicated, you need to pay in the private. That's the truth, unfortunately. But it's our system.
Yeah. Okay, got it. So, but to understand also the difference between like financing via LM Pay and financing via a bank or a credit card company, what makes the difference for you? Is it like is it cheaper, like compared to the interest rate? Is it more simple to use LM Pay instead of a credit card?
Um, it's a dedicated. This is a simpler because every our partner in the I mean about the clinics, has got a connection with our system. So we need only a name, surname, and a few numbers from your ID, and you've got the decision here and now. It takes something about 30 seconds. If you'd like to use a bank, you need to go to the banks, you get a special links. It takes a minimum 15-20 minutes. So that's why CNPL, like Care Now, Pay Later in our products, which is MediPay, is very short, simple. It's not so cheap because it's more expensive than the bank loans, but the time is the most important. And the patients and the clinic staff usually don't have enough time to make a bank process. Our process makes maximum 1 minute.
1 minute? That sounds quite fast compared to going to a bank. But as you've got this kind of infrastructure, the clinics, the clients, the application, do you think about introducing new products or new payment methods? And what could be the long-term growth for your company?
Yes, that's a very good question. That's why we made a business with Visa, because always we've got a problem with with a new business, with a new agreements with the clinics, because today we've got a 13,000, but in a beauty and medical treatments, we've got almost 90,000 medical business units. So the card with Visa we can avoid mm, the agreements way with the clinics. So the card is enough if the clinics has got a payment terminal. That's it. So we are very similar system with the Visa card, like a care credit in the United States. It works very well over there, and we will see how it works in Poland.
Mm. As you're mentioning the clinics already when they receive the payment, I mean, is there any kind of a kickback which has to be paid to the clinic, or that that the patient is like in a clinic, he needs a treatment, and then he needs like an advice to your service. So does the clinic receive any kind of payment for this kind of yeah, this kind
We
of commercial, let's say?
uh, Yes, but this is very specific because we've got a special intensive program, but it goes directly to the staff, not to the owner of the medical business.
Okay,
This is our agreement between the owner of the clinics and us. We can have a special agreement between the staff because everything depends on the staff. The question is that the staff will say something to the client about our system or no. So that's why we decided to build a special incentive program for the staff, not for the owner of the medical of the clinics.
I see. I see. Um, just a step back, talking about the treatments, but also like recurring revenues. You
Yeah,
mentioned that around 30% of the customers are like returning, like
yeah.
recurring. So what strategies are in place to increase the customer retention, and how could you could it be more easy to convert occasional users into loyal clients and frequently users?
Um, for example, if you want to make dentistry treatments, probably you will do it in your life one or maybe two times. That's why we decided to make our business in beauty treatments. So recurring patients usually comes from the beauty market. But thanks to that, we can uh, we've gotten options in the chance to offer another product to these clients. That's why we also lend the money for anything for this client, but the client must be very well known by us. And that's a first point. Uh, and the second point about recurring patients is we made a simpler way to use our system, and it calls Fast MediPay. And Fast MediPay is dedicated to old clients. So the difference is uh, that it will take maximum 15 seconds, not 1 minute, to pay by MediPay. So, but it's very comfortable because we just use your phone number and that's it. And it's
That's
very simple. And this is really still good in low for us and for the patients and for the clinic.
yeah, I got it. So that's a way like to keep the customer, but also like there's the risk of new entrants, of further competition. How do you plan to maintain your position, your leading position in this market? As long as I understood it, you are like the first mover in this in your market, so there's not really somebody else providing this kind of service, despite the banks, of course. But what's your idea to maintain this position?
Oh, we are working very hard every day, but it's very simple to say. But we've got a many situations for the last years that many competitors wanted to be in a clinics, but it always looks the same way. They coming, they think that it's very simple, but after 6, sometimes 8, sometimes after 1 year, they decided that it's a wire market. They say, for example, Santander in Poland said me that, Jacob, it doesn't make sense for us because the market it's too small for us, and better for us will be if we do some connection between LM Pay and Santander. So it's extremely hard to come inside because this is a doctors, it's a specific guys. So it's so hard to sign agreement with the clinics. But if you are talking about another competitors, doctors usually doesn't have time to do it because always say that I've got already Medirate, I've got already Medipay. So we need to eat this cake every day, and we are doing that. And I think that's the best solutions. But our new solutions and more clarify for customers, that's the way which will show us that we are a first player in medical treatments, and we will keep this idea all the time.
So as you said, like Santander, I mean, that's really a strong competitor, left the market and now started to
Yeah.
work together with you. But are there like other companies entering this market? Is there somebody like right behind the
That,
corner coming out of the market?
there are many brokers who are connected with the banks, but up till you don't have directly connections between clinics and the systems, it will be very hard. But even if you've got that system, still the time of the solution is very important. And of course, Santander tried to be in the clinics directly, but their systems usually take more than 15 minutes. Trust me, staff in the clinics don't have that long time to process patients because a lot of patients is in a waiting room and want to see the doctors. So
I Yeah, I see. I see. So
yeah.
let's talk about another topic. You've mentioned Romania. A quite short question. Do you plan to enter other markets beside Romania?
We've got a lot of work to do in Poland for the next 3-4 years. We've got really a lot to do here. In Romania, we just like to touch this market because it's very similar to Polish market. But we think that we avoid many problems and many troubles what we've got in Poland. So we will see. Up till now, I know every most important person in Romania, like president of dentistry, let's say in Romania. We've got an open door to make our solutions over there, and we will see what happens. We need to examine the risk. We need to examine the scale of this business. When we will see that it's quite nice, quite good, German, ganz große.
Of
Then we
course.
decided, we wanted to go to Bulgaria at the same time, but we were a little bit scared uh, about the weather in the Bulgaria, especially if we are talking about the style to making a business in Bulgaria. So I mean about the corruption, of course.
Okay.
So now we stop our thinking about Bulgaria. We'd like to launch Romania as soon as possible, and I think in 3 months we will do that, and then we will see maybe Portugal, maybe Spain, because we've got a business partner in Poland who has got a big networks over there. So we will see.
I see. I see. Jakob, now you have mentioned that you had trouble in the rollout. Trouble is something that investors, of course, they don't like so much, but actually you have learned your lessons. So given the planned entry into Romania this year, what lessons will you draw from the Polish market and what can you take over to Romania? So what are the risks and challenges you can anticipate from your knowledge you've got already?
Oh my gosh. It's a big question, because we made a really lot of mistakes in Poland for the last 15 years. And as I tell you, that we'd like to avoid everything. The incentive program for our partners, for the owners, for the staff in the clinics, we made here a lot of terrible mistakes, so we avoid it. Um, we will be much cheaper in Romania than we started our business in Poland. So it wasn't so easy if you want to competitive with the banks, but the difference is really big. So this is the two main trouble that we've got in Poland, and maybe something about regulators, because I didn't spend enough money in Poland for the lawyers, for example. So now I know, and I get one of the best lawyers who are specialized in lending companies in Romania. So they try to avoid me with a trouble for a regulator like a National Bank of Romania. So I think these issues will help us,
I see.
as I mean
Yeah,
about LMP, to avoid the biggest problem what we had got in Poland since now.
of course. I mean, as you said, like it's like 15 years of experience, like 15 years of rolling out, a lot of time of doing mistakes, but also like
Yeah.
a lot of time of solving and getting back on track. And that's actually what happened. So a really huge risk component is actually a scoring model. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit on how your scoring model has contributed in the past to a risk reduction, and is there any kind of plan of a further enhancement of the capabilities of this kind of scoring model?
As I tell you that we've got external and internal data, um, and of course it's a little bit our know-how, but I can tell you that we use today AI too. But in the lending business, in medical treatments, in the clinics, it's very important is with who you are working. Uh, when Marcin Tokarek, our risk manager, started his job, he terminated every bad clinics because it's really connected where the clinics is situated and what kind of clients used to come there. So this is our big competition to make this to make this business. Um, and probably that's all what I can tell you about our scoring system, because it's really our know-how, and we, 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 we we have nothing unusual, but we've got
Yeah.
some small pieces of risk management that it helps us to usually open for a new clients where, for example, banks don't want do it. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Um, I mean, there's a question regarding the outlook, and just to show it to get back, I mean, here on this page, I guess we had an interesting piece of outlook, how the treatments could look like until 2028. And the question is, the outlook is very optimistic, the
Yeah.
forecast, and it will lead to share some profits by paying a dividend to shareholders. Could that happen? And if yes, how would that be processed? I mean, and the question is how high a dividend could look like.
Yeah. That's a very good question, and really I waited for this question. Here we've got on the left side a very keyword. Keyword is insurance as a key growth drivers, because we almost finished our new products, which called Secure Pay, and up till now we are a fintech in medical treatments. So, but we are going to be as a LM Pay also insurtech, because here is a low risk if we are talking about vehicle insurances. And in Poland we've got almost 80,000 agents. So it's big figures. So when we would part new units, I can say that in till 2028 we will have a 4,000, maybe 4,000 new medical units, but another 4,000 or even 10,000 we will have by agents in insurance market. That's why these figures look like, and I can tell you only that the risk in a vehicle insurance is less than 4%, because we know very well from another countries this business.
About the dividend, I'm not quite sure if you have mentioned it.
I didn't hear about dividend. In the next 2 years, we are not going to transfer a dividend to our investors.
Yeah. A kind of short question: what is the average size of loan?
Okay, so average size of loan in MediPay, it's today less than 500 euros, so it's 1,800 zlotys. And in Mediraty, average size of loan is 5,600, so it's a little bit more than 1,000 euro.
Okay. Just the hint to the audience. I mean, we still have a few questions left, but if there are further questions, please do not hesitate to use them or to type them in the chat box. There was a question asking the topic of fraud. Can a clinic commit a fraud while using MasterCard or let's say Visa card if it doesn't need to be agreed with the clinic?
Of course, this is an online solution, so the risk here is much higher, but we close possibility, for example, to take money from a cash draw, from the cash machine. And you can pay our MediPay card only in a special number, POS. POS, I mean about terminal in the clinics. So we decided only to give you this solution only to paying in a medical, beauty, and a little bit other treatments. That's why we, of course, the approval here will be much lower, because today our approval in the clinics is more than 80%, so it's a lot. In the card, our experience say us that it will be maximum 20%. We will see. Yes, it's riskable. We know it because this is a card, but we've got some experience with the cards, and we will see how it's look like. But we need to open for this market too.
Okay, thanks for clarifying this one. So actually, it's the last question, so we'll get to it. But it's obviously an interesting question. The margin increases by better refinancing. That's normal, but programming, I mean, your cost of rollout of your technology is mainly done, so that's also helping the margin. So a really clear question which occurs is, what is the plan on reducing some of the debt?
We don't have a plan to maximize reducing the debt because we're a lending company. The question is how the debt should be should like. because my dream is that our average cost of the debt should be less than 10%. We are not going to take new equity because we've got a great way to take a quite cheap debt from the market. And maybe it's some kind of connection to the question, maybe we are going to be a bank in the future. So I can tell you that we don't have that plan because here is many regulations that we don't want to go inside this this world of bank. So today we feel very well with our debt, um, our level debt to equity is quite nice because today it's 2 to 1, and we've got very easily get more debt for 4 to 1. So we've got a lot of space to make a new debt, and we are not going to 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 get down our debt because I think it would see very bad because it means that we are not rise and no grow up.
Exactly. Debt is your figure of growing. More debt, which can be lended. So
Yeah.
actually, that should be more the idea of it. A really interesting question regarding the shareholder value. I mean, and an investor is asking when will be the next valuation of the company or a revaluation, speaking in, or meaning increased share prices. As of today, the share price seems undervalued based on the data you present in this webinar. So actually, are there further ideas or plans how you could communicate more stronger the business development we see at LM Pay to increase to do more capital market communications?
I think we need to wait for first quarter of 2025 because we will see what's happened with insurance market. And today we are working for a liquidity of our companies because we can see that it's a kind of problem. But I hope that much more road shows in Germany and in other countries will help us to make something with liquidity because our figures today, I think we are worth absolutely 2.5 more than we are existing in a stock exchange today. So I need to ask a specialist from Germany how to do it and how to use the market in Germany. But we know that it's a very special time in the markets in Germany. It's not so easy. But every day we are doing what we should, and we will see the figures in the first, second quarter. I'm very optimistic of that, but we need to work for liquidity, but we need to talk about with a specialist in Germany about it.
Maybe I know somebody who could help you on this topic. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, LM Pay, you're quite new to the capital market, so it's more or less a question of time that more people will hear about your story for the first time, and maybe they will get interested and they will buy some shares. That's actually the idea of our event today as well. So actually, Jakob and Gregor, we answered all questions which popped up. So actually, we come to an end, and I would just say thanks a lot for the insight you provided today in your company.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for attention of the investors. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Stay in the call, and for all the others, I would just say have a nice afternoon and enjoy later on your drinks in the evening. See you soon.